Fairview Heights looked calm again. Too calm. The lawns were perfect. The mailboxes freshly painted. You'd never guess that 3 nights ago, a man had been dragged out his own home in handcuffs. Derrick Parker stood in the doorway now, staring at what used to be his living room. Furniture overturned. Papers missing. The faint hum of his fridge was the only thing that hadn't changed. On the table sat that same photo, the one that said, "There's more under your house." He wanted to believe it was a bluff, but the weight in his chest said otherwise. So he did what he always did when things got too quiet. He started listening. Behind the wall in his study, he heard a faint clicking sound. Not pipes, not electricity. Something mechanical, repetitive. He followed it. The sound led to a corner of the basement, a part of the house that even the contractors said was unusual. He ran his fingers along the wall until he felt a ridge, a thin vertical seam that shouldn't have been there. He pushed. Nothing. Then he remembered something. When he bought the property years ago, the inspector had said the original blueprint didn't match the current layout. Derrick grabbed a crowbar and wedged it into the seam. The panel popped. Dust fell. Behind it, a steel door. No handle, just a keypad. A keypad inside a residential basement. He stared for a long time, heart pounding. Who would install something like this? And why? He pressed the keys at random. 3 beeps, then a soft click. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow passage that led deeper underground. The air grew colder. Inside the small room, Derrick found metal filing cabinets, old and rusted, stacked against the wall. Each drawer was labeled with a year. 2016, 2017, 2018. He opened the first one. Inside were manila folders, each stamped HOA Fairview Heights. But these weren't financial statements. They were incident reports, names, addresses, complaints. Every person who'd ever questioned the HOA's spending or policies had a file. One folder stood out, thicker than the rest. It had his own name on it, Parker Derrick L. He flipped it open. Inside were printed emails between Officer Hale and Mark Lewis, the HOA president, discussing surveillance, property disputes, and something labeled containment agreement. At the bottom, a handwritten note. Do not let him access the records. If he finds out about the previous owner, we're done. The previous owner. Derrick realized. He didn't know who built this house before him. He sat back. The walls felt closer. The air heavier. His phone buzzed. Evelyn Torres. Her voice was shaky. "Derrick, are you home?" "Yes." "Why?" "Don't move. They know you found a room." "What are you talking about?" "I work part-time at the county's data archive. I saw a request this morning. Someone tried to erase your property record from the state database." Derrick froze. "Who?" Evelyn hesitated. It came from a police terminal. Officer Hale's ID. Static filled the line, then silence. She was gone. That night, Derrick heard a knock at the door. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. He checked the window, no car outside. No one visible. He opened the door anyway. A man in plain clothes stood there, mid-50s, badge clipped to his belt. "Detective Miles Carter, Internal Affairs." He said quietly, "We need to talk." Derrick hesitated. About Hale? About all of them? Carter stepped inside, scanning the room. "You were never supposed to buy this house. It was seized from a developer who disappeared in 2016. Case went cold. Then the HOA bought the land under a shell company. Hale was the officer on that case." Derrick's breath caught. "You're saying the HOA is part of cover-up?" Carter nodded. "And Hale isn't just a cop. He's their cleanup man." He placed a folder on the table. Photographs, reports, signatures. "You were right to dig," Carter said. "But now they know you won't stop." Before Derrick could reply, a sound echoed from the basement. The metallic click of the secret door, closing on its own. Carter's eyes widened. "Did you lock it?" Derrick shook his head. "It locks from the inside." They both turned toward the sound of footsteps below. Someone else was down there. Carter drew his weapon. "Stay behind me." They descended slowly, flashlight beams cutting through the dark. The steel door stood half open again. Inside, the files were gone. Every drawer, empty, on the wall, written in chalk. You shouldn't have come back. Derrick's pulse raced. They took everything. Carter's radio buzzed suddenly, a voice on the other end. Detective Carter, we have a situation. Officer Hale is missing. Carter looked at Derrick. Missing? The radio crackled again. Last seen near Fairview Heights. His patrol car's engine still running. The two men stared at each other. Whatever this was, it wasn't just a cover-up anymore. Someone was tying up loose ends. By dawn, Fairview Heights was swarming with unmarked vehicles. Neighbors whispered from behind curtains. News crews gathered near the main gate. Officer Hale's cruiser had been found, abandoned by the lake, but he wasn't in it. And when investigators searched his trunk, they found a single folder labeled basement files. Inside, one photo, Derrick's house, and under it, written in red ink, next. The camera pans in on Derrick's face as he stands at the window, staring out at the flashing lights. In Fairview Heights, truth isn't the only thing buried deep. Sometimes the people who dig for it become part of the story themselves. Fade out.